Aquarium fish have become a staple in the American household over the past couple centuries. Over 11.5 million families had pet fish in 2022 alone. But where do these fish come from? The tale from source to store may not be for the faint of heart. Welcome to the Amazon River Basin, the largest river in the world by volume and home to a plethora of freshwater fish. Some of the most popular aquarium fish originate from the Amazon. According to our polls, some fish you might find familiar include the neon tetra, Corydoras catfish, plecos, and the autocinklus catfish. So if these fish originate from the Amazon, where do they come from in the modern day? To answer that, let's take an up-close look at some of these fish. This little fish here is named the least killifish. It's a hardy species that doesn't need a heater or filter to be kept happy, and can tolerate a wide range of water parameters. It's also the smallest fish that's known to give live birth, and that paired with its ease of care made it one of the stars of the developing aquarium hobby. The least killifish is native to the coasts from Florida towards East Texas. But this fish's fast reproduction in captivity extinguished nearly all need for wild-caught individuals. It's fallen out of the public eye in recent years, likely due to the abundance of more colorful fish, though I think some of the characteristics of the least killifish are irreplaceable. Swimming alongside it in the same aquarium is the autocinklus catfish. Autocinklus, or autos for short, are just as popular today as the least killifish was in its prime. They can be found at almost any fish store and are sought after because of their algae-centered diets and peaceful demeanor. What's curious about the auto, though, is that its means of acquisition couldn't be more different from the killifish. Autos can and have been bred in captivity before, but it's an involved process that requires an experienced hobbyist to complete successfully. A difficult to breed fish with a demand matching that of the fast multiplying killifish leads wholesalers to resort to other sources.
800. Está muy grande, está muy grande. Todo, ahí pegado, ¿eh? Pega más. Allá para acá, sí. De allá, de lejos. ¿De lejos? Ajá. Me traes todo.
¿Cuánto?
Como 2000 hay aquí. Vamos pues abajo.
¿Más?
Es que ya vamos a meter oxígeno en el carro, ya, oxígeno.
Autocinklus are almost always wild caught, and due to their habit of sticking around sunken wood, poisons like cyanide and rotenone are sometimes used to stun these fish and make them float. In cases where poison is used, it will damage the fish on a deeper level, ruining their livers and often the reason why they're found dead in the store's own display tanks. This isn't the case for all exporters of autos, of course, but does the fact that this happens mean that wild-caught fish are always worse than captive bred? No, most certainly not, and I'll give you a prime example as to why. Did you know? Almost half of the municipal income for Amazonian communities comes from exporting aquarium fish. Without this source of income, the next best options are things like cattle ranching and often illegal gold mining, both of which are devastating for the forest and river. But if the alternative is just to poison the fish directly, then how is this any better? Enter the neon tetra. When the river recedes after a flood, many of these fish get stranded in evaporating pools. Certain doom! Fish exporters are aware of this and will target these fish to bag up and sell, making use of the stranded fish and earning a living without ruining the river. In the case of neon tetras, it's more beneficial to the wild fish to take them from the wild than to breed them abroad. If you're concerned about the welfare of the Amazon, it's ironically better to buy wild-caught neon tetras. But you know, you can only do so much as a customer, so we had one of our team members interview 2 fish sellers to see what they had to say. So, under what criteria does your store evaluate the sources you buy fish from?
So we try to get everything locally. That's the entire point of the store. I wanted to be working with local breeders and local wholesalers, because unfortunately a big problem in the trade right now is the people who are mass producing these types of fish or drop shipping them. What they'll usually do is they'll claim that they're from a place here like Florida or something, but the reality of it is there's an office in Florida and the real fish are coming from like a Malaysian market or some other wholesaler in China or something. So they have to come through country to country to country. It's very stressing on the fish, and you don't really get a good quality product after that.
How well do you know your wholesalers, or I guess in this case, the people who bring in fish to your store?
Yeah, so again, I generally know a lot of my wholesalers. So the people that I call my wholesalers, generally on first name basis. We usually work out trade agreements here. You want to buy local and breed local and sell local because it's a lot easier on climatization. You know, that's the entire point.
And now we're on our way to Reef Valley, a local fish store that sells both fresh and saltwater. How well do you know your wholesalers?
Pretty well. Actually, we have been working pretty much with only 2 in the last maybe 6-7 years, and I have known them since the absolute very beginning. When we opened about 14 years ago, I know the owners, the sales reps. I've gone visit them, both of them, in California, so pretty well.
What % of the fish you sell are bred locally, and why?
Salt or freshwater?
I guess we'll start with saltwater.
Saltwater is 0. I would say in general, not just talking about locally, saltwater maybe about 10% of the fish that we sell are captive bred. But of those, like 0 are bred locally, the fish. So saltwater is 0. Freshwater, we do have a decent amount of people that breed fish. So I would say maybe about 25% of our freshwaters are bred locally, but probably about 75, if not more, % of the freshwater fish that we sell are captive bred. So freshwater, a lot more captive bred than saltwater.
One more thing before we conclude. The majority of people who answered our surveys said that the source of the fish they're buying from doesn't matter very much to them. While this is understandable, and admittedly the same school of thought I go by, we thought it would be fair to also interview someone who claims to be more serious about fish keeping. How important is it to know where the fish you buy come from?
It's really important due to the genetics. So if you get fish that are just house breeding, you might get sick fish or not even professionally bred that might die easily. But if you know where they're coming from, you know their genetics, they're not going to pass away as easy, they're not going to go into shock as easy, and we can explain where they come from and how to take care of them.
Thank you all for watching.